Tonight on JoyNews, prime statement on LGBTQI+ by a group of parliamentarians pushing for stiffer laws against the practice sparks debate on the floor of the House.
This is nothing short of an open attack on the laws of our country, and such unfortunately irresponsible conduct cannot be overlooked or treated with kid gloves. The sovereignty of this country must be respected and protected.
Don't stop people advocating for something to be recognized by the law. If you stop people from advocating for something to be recognized by the law, at that point you are transgressing, you are stepping on freedom of speech.
Second Day High Court hands down death sentences to 2 persons found guilty in the kidnapping and subsequent murder of 4 girls who went missing in Takoradi in 2018. Also, some of the girls' families are happy that justice has finally been served.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy with the sentence. I'm very happy with the sentence because looking at the verdict, the briefings that the judge gave.
Also in this bulletin, Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission proposes a return to long-forgotten traditions to help protect the country's forests.
The animal that they are protecting is endangered, but thanks to the taboos. So now we want to reintroduce work with the traditional authorities and find a better way of introducing reintroducing the taboos.
In business, former Finance Minister Sekwe expresses worry about the country's rising debt, a situation he believes, if not checked, could control government's program out of gear.
Ghana is going to end up in a very critical, debt, fiscal situation, which is what dictates many things. And remember, the IMF just suggested, I think last month, that Ghana should start considering a suspension.
My name is Aisha Ibrahim. JoyNews Prime comes to you live from our studios in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Do stay tuned in. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's start from Parliament, where Boko Central MP Mahama Yariga has described as illegal and unconstitutional the closure of the LGBTQI community space in Accra. Mr. Yariga argued the act of unnatural carnal knowledge must be separated from the constitutionally guaranteed freedom of association. He was reacting to a group of MPs who issued a statement against the activities of LGBTQI+ in Ghana. The debate has been raging in Ghana for weeks, with religious groups calling on Parliament to pass an anti-gay legislation. Ningo Prampram MP Sam George made the statement on behalf of members of the anti-LGBTQI group.
This is nothing short of an open attack on the laws of our country, and such unfortunately irresponsible conduct cannot be overlooked or treated with kids' gloves. The sovereignty of this country must be respected and protected. Mr. Speaker, without mincing words and stating as a matter of fact, any action aimed at the promotion of LGBTQI+ activities in this country is illegal and a clear breach of our Constitution and criminal codes. Article 12(2) of the 1992 Constitution dictates the entitlement of all citizens to fundamental human rights and freedoms, subject to the respect for the rights and freedoms of others, and most importantly, for the public interest. Article 39(1) and 3 of the Constitution further enjoins, and I quote, "The state to take steps to encourage the integration of appropriate customary law values into the fabric of national life through formal and informal education and the conscious introduction of cultural dimensions to the relevant aspects of national planning." Our Ghanaian customary law views homosexuality as an anathema and does not in any way, shape or form support the promotion of the perverted alien culture of homosexuality. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, Section 104 of Ghana's Criminal Offences Act, 1960, Act 29, as amended by Act 646 of 2003, criminalizes unnatural carnal knowledge. Section 104(2) of the Criminal Code states, and I quote, "Unnatural carnal knowledge is sexual intercourse with a person in an unnatural manner or with an animal. The perverted actions of homosexuals, whether consensual or not, constitute a crime under Ghanaian law, as it is unnatural carnal knowledge of another. This is not the position of our law. This position of the law, Right Honorable Speaker, does not occur in a vacuum. It is a representation of our culture, traditions, religious and customary beliefs, and our morals as a country. Any attempt to depart from the current position of the law on homosexuality will be an unprecedented assault on the fabric of our tradition and culture and customs as Ghanaians."
Mahama Yariga is, however, opposed to what he believes is an attempt to infringe on the freedom of association.
You may not like a certain view. You may not like a certain practice. But our Constitution recognizes freedom of speech, freedom of belief, freedom of conscience. And so the question is, do people have a right to form an association to advocate for a certain position to become accepted by the laws of Ghana? Do they have that right? And I take a position, and I stand to be challenged, that we need to be careful to distinguish between the freedom to speak about something, the freedom to advocate that we should accept it, as against the thing itself. The law prohibits unnatural carnal knowledge. So you cannot engage in unnatural carnal knowledge in this country. And you have no right to engage in unnatural carnal knowledge in this country. And so you cannot seek protection for it. But if you think that you want to advocate for it, and you form an association to engage in the advocacy, I take a legal position that you cannot stop people advocating for something to be recognized by the law. If you stop people from advocating for something to be recognized by the law, at that point you are transgressing, you are stepping on freedom of speech. You cannot stop people from coming together to say they want to advocate. At that point, you are stepping on freedom of association.
My colleague Parker Wilson now joins me from Parliament, where this debate has been ongoing. Hello, Parker. Tell me more about this debate. What was the outcome? Any consensus?
Well, there was no any particular consensus with regards to the advocacy of LGBT plus rights here in Parliament. The Speaker gave the members of the House the opportunity to contribute on the floor of the House, or to contribute to the debate. Now, just as you heard Mahama Yariga made the point clearly, all the other MPs who stood to speak or contribute to the statement made by Sam George were against the position of Mahama Yariga. In fact, shortly after he spoke, the whole West Member of Parliament, Emmanuel Bedra, challenged any Member of Parliament who perhaps might be involved in such a practice. That if you claim that there's an advocacy, and as a matter of fact, if you get individuals who are advocating for the rights of LGBTs, then anybody who is in this House should let us know or own up, then we can commend you for doing so. Of course, nobody stood up. They all burst into laughter. And he made the point that Parliament must make a strong statement to criminalize the activities of LGBT because our culture frowns on it. And as the people's representatives, it is their duty to bring finality to this matter. The second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, that is the former MP, who at the time had taken the Speaker's chair, thanked them for contributing to the statement. we are told that the Speaker of Parliament himself, Abam Babin, will make a statement on this issue. That wouldn't be today, but in the coming days, he's going to do that. So that was how the conversation or the debate about LGBT advocacy and their rights was concluded here in Parliament.
You know, there's been calls for legislation for Ghana to make its intentions clear on this particular activity. What was the position of the MPs on this one?
Right, so Sam George, who is actually the initiator of this statement, had indicated on the floor that he was going to initiate a private motion bill to the House, and he's asking all members of Parliament to support the cause so that they can legislate on the activities of LGBT or the sexual minorities. Now, his point is that whether advocacy or not, whether forming an association or not, whether engaging in the practice, the law would criminalize all aspects of activities of sexual minority. And that was the angle Mahama Yaga was coming from. That as it stands, the law gives us the opportunity to form association. He cited the advocacy of the RTI, that when people were advocating for the right to information bill, they were given the opportunity to do so. So if persons are equally advocating for the rights of LGBTs, then they must be given the opportunity to be heard. And so no individual can attack them for doing so. And that was where he cited the fact that the police closing down their offices were illegal. And so until the law is amended to the effect that advocacy for their rights, forming an association, and also engaging in the practice is criminalized, no individual, not even the state security agencies, is clothed with the powers to trample on the rights of these individuals who are advocating for the rights of LGBT.
Stay on there for me, because members of the minority group in Parliament are unhappy with allegations of bribery and betrayal leveled against them by some party officials and supporters. The claims follow the approval of 3 ministerial nominees, including Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Mavis Hawakumson, and a secret vote. Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, in a Facebook post said the leadership of the minority chose to satisfy their own selfish interests over the interest of the party. But MP for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed, disagrees.
I can understand the frustration. To tell you the truth, if I wasn't a member of Parliament, I was just an ordinary NDC member, I would have expressed same rage. But what we need to do is to be patient with them. I do know that some of our friends are so also frustrated that they have been attacked unjustifiably. I never voted any of them.
But were you shocked to realize that some of your colleagues voted in favor?
I was disappointed. I never voted any of them. And if they bring them a million times, I'm not going to vote them. I don't have anything personal against them. But I think that they are each unfit to be ministers of state. Some of them lied under oath. So I can understand the pain, the anger of our rank and file. If they didn't love the NDC, I don't think they would be worried. They loved the NDC. Some suffered for the NDC. We are members of Parliament. I was scandalized that some of them got more votes than the number of MPs that the NPP has.
Commission obtained 60%.
24 of our members voted for our commission. Right. It's absolutely preposterous. And I find it extremely difficult to comprehend.
So you have betrayed the party. Is that what it is?
Well, if we failed to do what the rank and file of the party expected us to do, we should not be run away from blame. So what we just need to do to let them understand there are several opportunities. Because I believe that when we in the elections of the Speaker, we were hailed, we were praised. The rank and file praised us. So when we do something that they are not satisfied and they are condemning us, we need to take it in good faith.
And they are asking for a total overhaul of the leadership of the minority.
I think that is far-fetched, and I don't know what blame.
And even Sami Jemfi made that point.
Yes, that is where I disagree with him. I don't know the basis on which anybody will be demanding a total overhaul of leadership. Because one, the leadership, how many are they? 24 members of our side voted for Hao Kumsen. 24. About 8 members voted for Kujopong Nkrumah. And about 5, I think so, or 4 voted for the Minister for Agri designate. Now, if you are blaming the leadership, how about the other members who voted for these individuals? How about them? I think that all of us should take the blame collectively that we have disappointed the grassroots, the rank and file of the party. They expected so much from us. But one thing I can assure the rank and file of our party, that yes, we have several opportunities to demonstrate our independence, and I don't have any reason to doubt the integrity of the leadership and the members. Perhaps certain things influence the decisions people took.
Well, Parker, how is leadership of the minority responding to these accusations by the NDC communications officer? All right, before you do that, the MP says they have received threats and attacks from their party supporters.
The painful aspect of it is that we are all being blamed. And I know in the heart of my heart, I never voted them. I know in the heart of my heart that no one will dare attempt to even come to bribe me to do something that I wouldn't want to do. But we are all blamed, and we need to accept the blame. I think that this idea...
But you take some bribe, some of your colleagues did take bribe, because it's also a rumor.
Well, I doubt. I don't know. Nobody can bribe me. I mean, everybody, those who know me very well in my politics, you can't even attempt to bribe me, because if you come, I will expose you. I will expose you. If anybody attempts to do that, I will expose you. I have been talking to people. Some will call and tell you that God will punish you people. You know, you just have to listen and let them understand that they need to...
So you have received...
Oh, I've received... Not personally. I have received a lot of attacks. Maybe perhaps to a very large extent, maybe my conscience believed that I wouldn't do such a thing. But I have had people who call and express their anger, particularly a lot of the platforms. We just need to exercise patience. We just need to talk to them. I know that many other issues will come. And when we do that, they'll praise us. And that's why I say that when we did good and they were praising us, we were happy. When we did something which they deemed to be bad and they are condemning us, painful as and justifiable as the condemnation, may be, we need to exercise patience.
Now, Parker, what's the reaction coming from the minority leadership? All right, I think we lost Parker there. If we get him back, we'll be asking for reactions from the minority caucus. We are told that there was a crunch meeting of the minority caucus in Parliament, which even delayed the attendance to business of the House in the chamber. When we get Parker back, he will be telling us more. But there's been accusations from the party's rank and file, and their communications officer, Samit Jemfi, has been saying things on Facebook. One of the things he says is that he's disappointed by the minority caucus for what they did in voting Hawa Kumsin, Dr. Ose Efriakoto, and Kojo Nkrumah, voting them to be approved by the plenary. Parker, I wanted to find out from you, what's the reaction coming from the minority leadership?
Well, so the minority is not really too happy with the allegation against them. Some of them have denied the allegation, and they have indicated that, well, as members of parliament, they have always exhibited or demonstrated their consistency and their will towards advancing the cause of the party. And Aisha, I have with me the member of parliament for Jaboso, Minta Kando here. Let me just engage him briefly. Honorable, thank you very much for your time this evening. Now, the allegations against you, I know some of your members are not happy. They have raised concerns that is not true. For you as a member of parliament, what has been the reaction among your colleagues?
Well, it's quite painful when such allegations are raised against you without knowledge, without any iota of truth. I, to a large extent, and the anger in the public domain, especially our grassroots.
Okay.
They have every right, it's justifiable to be angry, but to go to that extent that we have taken monies.
I mean, a statement from your National Communications Officer, Samijin. I'm sure it's come to your attention.
Well, I have seen statements to that effect. Whether or not it's coming from him or not is another issue.
It's on his Facebook wall. I can confirm to you that it's coming from.
But I think that we should all tread cautiously. We should not be washing our dirty linen in public. I don't function too well when there is conflict within the same group.
Okay.
And so I will admonish all party people, all the supporters to be calm. I think that we shall overcome it.
Now, finally, I know that the National Executives also are not happy with you. That's the question you picked up. And because of that, today they were here to meet the caucus, the NDC caucus. What can I say about the meeting held there? Were they here to penalize you?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't attend the meeting, and so I do not know who participated in the meeting. But of course, there was a caucus meeting. I was not part of it.
And you don't know the agenda of the caucus meeting?
Well, the agenda was not published before the meeting. I mean, so it was an emergency caucus meeting. So the agenda was not published before the meeting, and unfortunately, I couldn't make it, and I have not been briefed here. So I don't think I have the capacity to comment on the.
But finally, for me, the allegation about some of your colleagues voting in favor of the three nominees for you, what do you make of it? Because that is where some say that you betray the trust of the party supporters.
Well, that's why I've already indicated that as members of parliament, we represent the people, and we should be seen to be doing what the people want, not to be doing what we want. You understand? And so, if the larger population or the larger group thinks that, look, these people shouldn't have gone through, and they go through, they have every right to be angry.
But did you take money because that's been the allegation?
Not at all. I've already indicated. Not at all. Not at all.
You didn't take $20,000.
I have never heard anything. In fact, it is only today when I came to Parliament that people were joking about it at the foyer and ORP. But nothing, absolutely nothing of that nature that I am aware of. And so we will admonish people to be calm and gradual.
And that was Parker Wilson, our man in Parliament monitoring events for us. We'll be telling you about this crunch meeting by the minority in Parliament and the party's leadership when we get some information. But the Sekondi High Court has handed down death sentences 2 persons convicted for kidnapping and subsequent murder of 4 girls who went missing in Takoradi in 2018. The suspects, Samuel Auditor Girls and John Oji, were charged for kidnapping and murdering Ruth Abaka, 19, Priscilla Blessing Bentum, 21, Ruth Love Koisin, 18, and Priscilla Kranchi, 15. The victims were captured at different locations, including Kasarodo, Butumejebu, Nkrofo Junction, all in Sekondi Takoradi in the western region. We'll get to that soon, but here is a recap of the story which dominated the headlines for several weeks.
Between July and December 2018, 4 Takoradi girls went missing. Ruth Abeka, 19, Priscilla Blessing Bentum, 21, Ruth Love Koisin, 18, and Priscilla Mantebia Kranchi, 15, were captured at Kansarodo, Buntumejebu, and in Nkrofo Junction, all in Sekondi Takoradi in the western region. On January 4, 2019, after months of fruitless checks, relatives, friends, and some residents went on demonstration demanding justice.
We really want to see them.
Yes. Yes.
We are 100% convinced that if this incident happened to one of the ministers or happened to any dignitary in our country by now, I am convinced that we will see them.
Have arrived, and as you can see, members of the community are hooting at the police who are driving past in a white pickup. The police simply driving through the community, and you can see that members of the community are hooting at them.
You go to laboratory and they examine you, they give you a sheet, the analysis that they have done, they give it to you. And that very sheet will be presented to your doctor to explain. So you want the sheet. You want the sheet of the analysis.
This led the Western Regional Police Commander, DCOP Vincent Redeemer Deju, to hold the first official press conference, giving information about how the kidnappings occurred. On 2nd April 2019, CID boss Mami Yatiwa Adodankwa, in a press conference, assured families they knew where the girls were.
Together with the BNI, we've worked very well, and currently we know where the girls are. I'm unable to give the details because we don't want to compromise their safety. We are working hard together with other stakeholders so that these girls are brought back home safely. The assurance to the family is that they should keep on keeping on. The ladies, we know where they are and they are safe. So very soon they will be brought back home and they will go back to their family.
However, that was never to happen. Parents accused her of deceiving them. The police finally discovered their bones in a septic tank in the house of the lead suspect, Sam Auditor Wales. IGP James Opombuenu indicated that Samuel Wales and John Orji confirmed kidnapping the girls after years of court proceedings. The Secondary High Court is set to give its judgment.
Well, here's a report of what transpired in court on judgment today.
After nearly 2 years of hearing the case, the 7-member jury found the 2 offenders guilty of kidnapping and murder. The 2 have been sentenced to death by hanging. The suspects, however, may appeal the judgment within 30 days should they choose to do so. Mixed reactions have greeted the judgment. While some were satisfied with it, some of the relatives of the girls are still in denial. Francis Bentum, one of the victims' relatives, does not believe that this brings justice to the family.
Sir, Adeyo, Dakol, no one in faith been a nature or a shah. Not a young man, or ya. Young man, de Yamissim can call Nuquenya. Where is my mitiwa? Where is my mitiwa? And the CID no officers, and where are they? You want some people who are gonna hire your fair. Eben result in a work DNA test now. What I blind now from our back and from woo. I him there, Yamban, or post for 9 and not 2 and Mammy 2 or Yamban or Mammy 2. Nah, I'm paying for Ghana Hall.
Another family member, the mother of one of the girls who was at the High Court, Josephine Amo, in an interview expressed satisfaction with the judgment.
I'm happy with the sentence. I'm very happy with the sentence because looking at the verdict, the briefings that the judge gave from day 1 up to date, the only thing I expect them to say is when the suspect escaped from cells, we the concerned mothers, we said we wanted to the who aided them to escape to appear, but they never called that person to appear so that we can even ask them questions. Ever since the 2 officers have left the scene and we don't even know where they are. So me, I'm pleased.
Between July and December 2018, 4 Takoradi girls went missing. On January 4, 2019, after months of fruitless checks, relatives, friends and some residents went on a demonstration demanding justice. The story thus caught national attention. The police finally discovered their bones in a septic tank in the house of the lead suspect, Samuel Auditor Wales. A subsequent DNA test confirmed that they were indeed the remains of the girls.
Western Region correspondent Inathalia Kwanza has followed the story all through and was in court for the sentences. Apparently not all the girls' families are happy with the outcome and are asking for more. Inathalia, kindly unmute.
Okay, Aisha. So 2 of the families are not happy with the sentence. That is the the Bentums and the Anzakobla. Anzakobla is the grandfather for Ruth Abeka, the first girl who was kidnapped on the 29th of July, and then that of Priscilla Blessing Bentum, who was kidnapped on the 17th of August 2018. They think that this is just a means to end the case. They think that this is a way to just let the case be, because if you will listen to one of the interviews, Mr. Ansah did indicate that he saw the police jubilating, meaning it ends there and they are free. They wouldn't have to be questioned again. But for them, they would find their own means of getting answers. They believe that some years, some days, some months to come, we are going to see these girls enter into secondary Takoradi, and this will prove what they are saying today.
What do you know about how the police unraveled the case to successfully apprehend and convict the suspect?
Yes, Aisha. So until last year, until on the 31st of July 2019, we were all thinking, everyone, including the police and the public, thought that these girls were kidnapped. So that fateful day in the Secondary High Court, where the Chief State Attorney did talk about the fact that after several investigations, they found a Facebook chat, and then between Samuel Auditor Girls and John Uji, the second accused. And then in that Facebook chat, there was mention of kidnapping. There was also mention of money for rituals. There was mention of a malam commanding money. There was mentioning of the family of the girls calling to speak to them. There was mention of a ransom of 50,000 for each girl being kidnapped in that Facebook chat. There was also a bank account which was given with the second accused person's name, John Oji. But when these people were under investigation, even though some of Udotech Wills in court had denied the fact that that Facebook account wasn't his, during investigation, John Uji had given his bank account, which was the same as the one they had found in the Facebook chat that the two had. The girlfriend of Samuel Udotech Wills, Emilia Limbo, has also confirmed that his boyfriend had a Facebook name, Samuel Wills, and the profile he used, this girlfriend confirmed it. So that was when the police started the search into retrieving the bones at a septic tank close to Samuel Udotech Wills' residence as Cancerado, and then another one at his hideout when he escaped on the 30th of December 2018 from the Takoradi police custody. And then when he was rearrested on the 3rd of January, his hideout where he was being picked up, that is where they found the other bones.
Inathalia Kwanzaa is a woman in the western region following the matter for us. Still to come in business, former Finance Minister Seth Ekpa expresses worry about the country's rising debt, a situation he believes, if not checked, will throw government's program out of gear. We'll be back with more in business.
Ghana is going to end up in a very critical, debt, fiscal situation, which is what dictates many things. And remember, the IMF just suggested, I think last month, that Ghana should start considering a suspension.
Time for business. I'm Charles Aite. The former finance minister said Tekwe says President Akufo-Addo has the power to appoint any cabinet ministers to present the 2021 budget to Parliament. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is presently on medical leave in the USA recovering from COVID-19 complications. But Joy Business gathered that Trade Minister designate Alan Tremantin has been penciled down by President Akufo-Addo to present the full year budget to Parliament next Friday. Mr. Tekwe tells Joy Business that there is no time left for the government to delay in presenting the budget, since Parliament has limited time to debate and approve the budget. Let's hear his argument.
On behalf of the President, that is when the work of Parliament begins. So it's substantive. And first of all, the budget preparation itself starts, run about April, May, or earlier. And so the absence of the minister may not affect the content of the budget itself, right? Just some tweaking. Why? Because before even the elections, under the Public Financial Management Act, and this is now codified in the law, the budget preparation should begin by a certain date. A cabinet strategy paper should be prepared for cabinet, giving the policy rationale. The estimates should be sent to Parliament and presented to to cabinet and presented to Parliament by a certain, date. And all this in relation to the ensuing year, which means that the 2021 budget process started in 2020. Now, let me make an observation. This process is so finite and, I would say, compared to many developing countries, polished for us, in that when the expenditure in advance of appropriation was presented, even though it was meant for 3 months, right, for government to run up to the end of March, there was another line for 2021 estimates. That itself is the actual budget for 2021. So if you go to that, you will see an idea, an indication of the 2021 budget already as part of the expenditure in advance of appropriation. So what was left is the policy, which will be read, which will be in that thick book. The numbers, the estimates are known. The budget is an estimate, so those estimates are known. And for as long as ministries, departments, and agencies were involved in the budget hearing for their compilation, all the ministries know probably their allocation and things by now. So I would say that that is a positive side to say that there's no need to panic excessively.
Meanwhile, Mr. Tekpe is worried about the state of the Ghanaian economy, particularly the rising debt, which he says has reached unsustainable levels, and the huge financing gap which could throw government's program out of gear. According to him, all the indices for renowned international research institutions are pointing to a difficult time for the economy. He therefore does not want government to blame COVID-19 on Ghana's current economic woes.
If you take those outstanding liabilities, and even the recent, vetting that is taking place, you may have heard, ministers like Rhodes and others talking about 3 billion and other amounts in energy owing. And if you consider that the arrears provision in the budget and going forward, okay, let me talk about the 2020 budget, which did not change with the media review of COVID. It's only 500 million. So if you look at it, even if I grant that, the arrears is likely to be about 1.5 billion, that already, in addition to what has been disclosed as footnotes, should increase the 13.5%, which government itself, which after the computation, 11, you add what was in the footnotes, it becomes, 13%. If you add some of these arrears, which would have accrued before December, then it means our deficit, again, like Moody's, Fitch, and others are saying, is going to be about 15% at the end of the year. So that should tell you, that Ghana is going to end up in a very critical, debt, fiscal situation, which is what dictates many things. And remember, the IMF just suggested, I think last month, that Ghana should start considering a suspension of its debt. The facilities that's available to COVID. Now, on account of COVID. But that would be a second call on account of COVID for Ghana. Remember, we went to the fund to get 1 billion, Ghana cedis, US dollars, which is about close to 6 billion, Ghana cedis. And upon all this, we are now being asked to seek another, dispensation on account of COVID. Should lend credence to the fact that the situation was probably more critical, than COVID, and it cannot all be attributed, to COVID.
And that was Tekpe, the former finance minister, speaking to Joy Business regarding the 2021 budget presentation next Friday. Do stay tuned with Joy Business. We shall be giving you all details as and when we do get them. But that's how we end business. Sports is up next.
Good evening and welcome to the sports segment with me, Oreku Wampofu. We do start off with some biking stories where bike riders of around in 2 months ago embarked on tour around 15 regions across the country, covering 2,000 kilometers. On their return, they have supported the Kolebu Teaching Hospital with 50,000 Ghana cedis.
2 months ago, in January, a group of bikers embarked on what they called Around in 7, a 7-day trip around Ghana, covering 2,000 kilometers across 15 of the 16 regions, with the aim of bringing awareness of key societal issues and deficiencies. On their return, they have put their money where their ties are and have gone to assist struggling mothers at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The activity by the group of 9 riders was well noted on social media and was able to attract Ecom Limited, a cocoa purchasing company, who have supported the maternity and burns ward at Kolebu Teaching Hospital with 50,000 Ghana cedis. Speaking to JoyNews on behalf of AIS, Daniel Isrifi explained why they believed this action is necessary.
Well, as it's going to become a yearly event where motorcyclists will ride around the country in 7 days. The maiden one took place from January 10th to January 17th. We covered a total of 2,500 plus kilometers. I mean, in doing this, we highlighted societal problems, and a company came to our aid. They donated 50,000 cedis to help pay for the bills of those who are unable to foot their medical bills. So we are here this morning to do the donation and to let some people go home.
On her part, the Chief Nursing Officer at Kolebu, Madame Michelle, thanked the bikers for extending their sporting ethics to the mothers, many of whom are unable to leave the hospital for financial reasons.
I want to say a very big thank you. Most of our mothers usually need assistance. Came in at the right time. We are saying we are so grateful. And we wish to see more of his help from time to time. Thank you so much.
Let's do some more stories where the co-promoter of Volta Rangers FC, Adam Kofi Ansah, says they are committed to building a reputable football club to serve the interests of the people in the Volta region. Speaking to Joy Sports, he said they anticipate 3 million will be served weekly entertainment whilst boosting the economy in the region through football.
Volta Rangers FC is expected to be the hub of football talents that provides entertainment for the people, especially in Ho, and also contribute to the economy in the area. Chief Executive Officer of Soccer Star Africa, Adam Kofi Ansah, who doubles as promoter of Volta Rangers, shared the vision of the club with Joy Sports.
It's a football project of a different kind. The idea is to put together a team with the right structures, playing from the second division in Ho. A team that will grow its fan base and become a commercially viable enterprise within the next 3 to 4 years. So in that light, we've been scouting all over. We've deployed the best of technical team. We've embraced various stakeholders of the game. The market women are part. The chiefs are a key part. The National Association of Garages in Ho. They've embraced the idea. Football was a big thing in the 80s when we had the old club, a team that played to the cup winners, cup competition. For a while, the infrastructure, the stadium, the old one and the new one that has been built, have been lying very dormant there. There's been a change in leadership as far as the football management in the region is concerned, and it's the right time to start something. So we have pulled various friends and associates from the corporate world, schoolmates who lived and spent time in the region to build a solid force that would move to the next stage of the Ghana Football League system in the next year.
The head coach of the team, Dennis Danso, is convinced about the quality, reckoning there will be a difficult opposition within the next few years.
Every region has a top club. Looking at when you come to Accra, you have Accra as a folk. You go to Kumasi, you have Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So we being the voter, being the heart of the fans, being the heart of the people, it's exciting for us because we are looking forward to do great things over there. We are looking forward to make it work. We believe that when we finally get to the Premier League, they will know what we are capable of and what we are at.
For Baba Amidou, skipper of the team, they could be playing in the top division of domestic football in the country in the next 3 years.
We are working hard towards it through the coaches and the management. We are working very, very hard. For now, we are in the lower tiers, second division. Hopefully, like I think maybe next year we climb to the first division. And we are trying to 3 to 2 years, 3 to 2 years time. Maybe we will be in the top flight of Premier League.
The club was launched in November last year.
Before we go, let's catch up on some football action, and more specifically the Ghana Premier League, where match day 17 has already kicked off, and Asante Kotoko are currently also in action as they are losing against Elmina Sharks, and that match is 1-0 in favor of the home team. What that means is that Asante Kotoko's run of not losing an away game has come to an end this season. They were the only team left to have done that. In terms of fixtures, you can see what we do have for you over the weekend. We'll be having live commentary for that game between Heart and Wafa on Sunday as well. My name is Oreku Wampofu, and this wraps it up for the first part of the sports segment.
President Akufo-Addo is swearing in the first batch of ministers vetted and approved by Parliament. Let's go over now to the presidency and hear him speak now.
Honorable Sarah Adjoa Safu. Honorable Dr. Kweku Efriye.
Eminent clergy, Vice President, Chairperson of the Council of State, Chief of Staff of the Office of the President, Secretary to the President, Secretary to the Cabinet, newly sworn Ministers of State, officials of the Presidency, Chairperson of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to Jubilee House, the seat of our nation's presidency. You will recall that on Thursday, 21st January 2021, I submitted to Parliament for prior approval through its Speaker, the Right Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagdon, the names of 46 persons to serve as ministers designate and regional ministers designate for the second term of the Akufo-Addo presidency. Yesterday, 4th March, and today, 5th March 2021, I have received communications from the Speaker that the nominees for ministers designate I presented, with the exception of the Minister designate for Finance, Kenu Furiata, who for medical reasons was unable to attend the hearings of the Appointments Committee, have been approved by the House through strong bipartisan endorsement. Unfortunately, the Minister designate for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Honorable Ebenezer Kojokum, Member of Parliament for Ahanta West, although approved, cannot be present with us today because he is indisposed. I have thus sworn into office this evening to ante 8 of the 30 nominees I sent to Parliament. I must perforce express my sincere gratitude to Parliament, that is to the Right Honourable Speaker, to the Honourable Chairperson and Honourable Members of the Appointments Committee, to the Honourable Majority and Minority Leaders, and to all Honourable Members of both sides of the House. My gratitude for the expeditious and thorough manner in which the scrutiny of my ministers was carried out. It is a concrete manifestation of the positive cooperation between the executive and the legislature that I hope will characterize our relations in the next 4 years. I am particularly appreciative of the fact that the work of Parliament, despite the challenges and impact of the COVID-19 environment, has enabled me to constitute the government before the 64th Independence Day celebration. As a result of tonight's ceremony, the country goes into the national celebration tomorrow with the government in place. Newly sworn ministers, the entire nation followed keenly your individual interactions with the Appointments Committee. In those sessions, you exhibited your capacity to act as ministers of state for all to see and justify to the country the confidence I have reposed in you to serve in government. I have had the opportunity to sit and work with many of you in my first term of office. Some of you are new to the workings of government. Nonetheless, I'm confident that together we will work to realize the vision of the mandate given to me by the Ghanaian people in the victory of 7 December 2020, a victory which yesterday, 4th March, was unanimously upheld in a lucid, well-considered judgment by a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court, presided over by the Chief Justice. Honorable members, honorable ministers, I can call you that now, as you have just sworn the 3 oaths, that of allegiance, that of office, and that of secrecy. The sum total of these oaths that you have solemnly sworn is that you have pledged to uphold the interests of the Republic, its Constitution, and its citizenry, and to dedicate yourselves to the promotion of their general well-being. It is a heavy responsibility, especially since the Ghanaian people have in clear and emphatic terms demanded we protect our progress and transform Ghana for all. In the last 4 years, we've had the opportunity to translate promises into concrete programs. We were for 3 consecutive years, prior to COVID-19, one of the fastest growing economies in the world, with a GDP growth rate averaging 7% per annum. We've become the largest recipient of foreign direct investment in West Africa. We've become a net exporter of foods. We've started adding value to our raw materials. We've strengthened the accountability organs of the state to enhance the fight against corruption. We have revived the National Health Insurance Scheme to facilitate affordable health care for ordinary people. And all our children have been guaranteed a minimum of senior high school education. Above all, we've committed ourselves to the rapid industrialization, modernization, and transformation of the economy. Indeed, we are in the process of putting this nation onto the path of sustainable progress and prosperity. Satisfied with this, the Ghanaian people have given us 4 more years to do more for them. So as you assume your roles in government, I urge you to provide leadership that will ensure that the work on which we are embarked benefits the progress of our nation and helps raise the living standards of our people. That is why we are here, and that is why the Ghanaian people voted for us. I am assured that the various backgrounds and experiences of each one of you will bring value to the governance of our nation and enable us to deliver on the commitments of our manifesto, the sacred compact that ties us in the new patriotic party to the Ghanaian people. It is important, as we strive to provide good governance for our people, that we remember at all times the changed nature of the political environment in which we are now operating. The vote of 7th December has resulted in a virtual tie in representation of the 2 major parties in Parliament, which means that we are obliged to seek broad consensus in the manner in which we implement our decisions. As I indicated in my inaugural address some 2 months ago, my boundless confidence in the energy of the Ghanaian makes me believe that we can become the prosperous nation to which we aspire, and soon. We have good reason to be proud of what we've been able to achieve so far. The Ghanaian people have placed their hopes for a brighter future in us. I'm looking forward eagerly to working with you so we can together realize their hopes and fulfill the dreams of the founders of our nation, to build under God a democratic, free, prosperous, and united nation, the Black Star of Africa. I congratulate you on your appointments and wish you Godspeed in the discharge of the high duties of your offices as ministers of state. May God bless the second government of the Akufo-Addo presidency and us all. And may God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
That was President Akufo-Addo swearing in the first batch of his appointees who were approved by Parliament this week. And of course, former Deputy Information Minister Felix Ofosu-Kwakye has accused President Akufo-Addo's directive to former Auditor General Daniel Domelevu to proceed on retirement. He says it makes him Ghana's worst leader in the fight against corruption. He alleges Daniel Domelevu was hounded out because of his upcoming audit of coronavirus expenditure by the government.
I think that the time has come for you in the media, in the civil society organizations, and the Ghanaian public at large to ensure that President Akufo-Addo's overreach into state institutions with a view to undermining them is brought to a screeching halt. All governments have been saddled with public officials appointed by previous administrations. We in the NDC had to contend with 3 chief justices appointed by the MPP. Indeed, when we came to power in 2009, the chief justice at the time had been appointed by President Kufuor. We lived with her for 8 years. President Akufo-Addo has had the opportunity to appoint 2 chief justices. if we come to power, or rather when we come to power, and the Chief Justice that he appointed is still in office, we will have no option than to work with him, because that is what the Constitution says. Why is it that President Akufo-Addo is unable to tolerate and accommodate public officials selected by his predecessor? What is this fixation with having absolute and total dominance over state institutions? What is this mindset that leads him to believe that the NPP must dominate every aspect of our life, so that even independent organizations created by the Constitution, around whom walls of independence have been erected, are compromised, so that persons that they handpick can man them, so that they will be subjected or become subjugated to the whims and caprices of the NPP. It is a situation that we must not countenance as a people. So I am deeply disturbed by the removal of Mr. Domelovo. It is the final nail in the coffin in the fight against corruption.
Former Deputy Health Minister Dr. Okoboy has commended Ghanaians for the level of interest shown in the ongoing COVID-19 mass vaccination exercise. According to him, the massive patronage by Ghanaians can be attributed to the public broadcast of the vaccination of the president and other government officials. Dr. Okoboy spoke on the sidelines of a presentation of personal protective equipment by Chief Executive of Auditor Ghana Limited to the children's ward of the 37 military hospital.
Before the vaccine rollout, we did some research about vaccine acceptance. It came out that 63% of Ghanaians were not ready to take the vaccine in Accra. So you can imagine what will happen in the rural area. But luckily, or thankfully by the grace of God, immediately the president and the vice and key officials took the vaccine. That particular attitude or stance started to change. And I'm happy to say that this morning, I've got a lot of calls. People who don't even belong to Group 1, who are asking me whether there's a way they can get vaccinated. That is assuring. It means that we've come on board.
Meanwhile, headaches, body pains, chills, and mild fevers. Those are the side effects being reported by persons who have taken the jab. But according to Dr. Okoboy, those are adverse reactions that would clear soon.
Got my shot on Tuesday. What I experienced, I think, is what a lot of people are experiencing, which is some pain at the site of the injection, even 24 hours, that's a day later. And then when you wake up in the morning, maybe a little bit of joint pain, and it's as if you've gone to run some marathon and all that. But it heals within a period of 24 hours. So I've not taken paracetamol, I'm not taking anything. Within 48 hours, I was very okay. In fact, after the injection, I was able to eat, do my rounds. It's just when I was waking up that I felt some way. And when people call me, I go like, you can some 2 tablets of paracetamol. Some didn't even need it, and then you are well. So the benefits, like I've put on some platform, are huge. When you get the vaccine, we hear of 70% efficacy with AstraZeneca, 95% with Pfizer, 92 or 93 with Sputnik. All these figures refer to protection from getting the virus. It means 70 people out of 100, when they get the vaccine, would never get COVID-19. But the 30% who might get it, there is a greater benefit, which is that you are protected from severe illness. It means that your condition will be mild to moderate. You will not end up at ICU, at Ghana East or University of Ghana Medical Center. And the protection from death is almost 100% for all the vaccines. So I tell people that all the vaccines have one thing in common. They keep you away from the ICU and from the medical ward for COVID-19. Also, those 90-70 is about whether you get the virus or not. So the vaccines provide that answer. And so there are so many benefits for getting the vaccine that if you get the opportunity, don't hesitate at all. Don't say that I'm waiting for the 95% or for the 80%. Whichever one is approved by Ghana's FDA for use will save you from death and from severe illness. And that's why I encourage people to go for the vaccine. As a country, we are very strict about the vaccines we receive. All the vaccines that came to Ghana, we had the batch numbers before they got here. Batch numbers mean that every serial number, we got the documents. So that when they got to our airport, we had to check the vaccines versus their serial number. Because there can be fake ones in town. Like you've heard about South Africa and China, they're busting fake guns. So all these things are part of our, are on the table. We are minded by these issues.
President of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs, Pimam Pem Yao, Cabrese V has called on the people of the region to embrace the COVID-19 vaccines and disregard all rumors peddled against the efficacy of the vaccine. He disclosed to JoyNews' Anna Sabit that the Nananum of the region are spearheading a campaign aimed at helping sensitize the people on the need to accept the vaccines when it gets to the region. There's more in this report.
The pandemic is all over in the Bono East region. No home, no district is exempted. It is a worrisome issue to Nananum Bono East region.
This is the president of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs, Pimampim Yao Kagbese V, expressing worry at the increasing number of COVID cases in the region. With a vaccine finally in the country to help save the situation, Pimampim Yao Kagbese V, who doubles as the paramount chief of the Yeji Traditional Council, is calling on the people to do away with the skepticism that is discouraging the masses from accepting the vaccines.
Now that there is a vaccine to get rid of this COVID-19, and some people are talking or raising issues that will deprive some other people to be vaccinated. I don't think it is a good idea. Government will not sit down for his or her population to be vaccinated and die. The government has taken up the responsibility to know the outcome if somebody is vaccinated.
He adds that the black race has lived in harmony with the whites and see no reason why the whites would want to wipe out the black race as being speculated.
Why should people get fear to be vaccinated? Some are saying that the external support, they are using some drugs to come and kill us. That's not so. We have lived with them for quite a long time, and there are some other consumable items that they send to us. We eat them. If they want to kill us, they would have killed us long ago. So I don't think somebody will just go and then say, if you vaccinate, you die. And people will just blindly follow the person. Not at all. We should let the public know that there's nothing wrong if one is vaccinated.
Pimampim Kagbese V added that the Nananum of the region is spearheading a campaign aimed at sensitizing the people on the need to embrace the vaccine when it gets into the region.
That is our duty. Each member of the house has a divisional chief, has an Odikro. They are all living with the people. So if we want our people to be vaccinated, we have to sensitize them. So Nananum, the members of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs, will get back to their various traditional areas and then lead their divisional chiefs. The divisional chiefs also lead the Adikrofor in terms of this education, so that people will get free when they are vaccinated.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
We'll take a break on JoyNews Prime. We'll bring you the second part of business and sports.
And it's time for business. I'm Charles Aite. Now, Harriet Claire Thompson has been appointed British High Commissioner to Ghana and non-resident British High Commissioner to Benin in succession. She succeeds Ian Walker, who will be transferred to another diplomatic service appointment. Ms. Thompson will take up her appointment during summer of 2021. And prior to her appointment, she was the head of mission and the deputy to the British High Commissioner in Nigeria. Now, business managers, owners, and leaders have been advised to be flexible during these COVID-19 times. Now, according to HR consultant Dr. Esi Ansah, To ensure efficacy in the execution of duties by employees, leaders must adapt to the changes in work patterns. She spoke to Inshira Ado on Joy Prime.
Leaders have to set their minds up to be just agile, flexible, ready to adapt as needed, and not to say, okay, so the new norm is that we're working virtually and that's it. Let's all pivot and let's go do that. You need to look at your model. So what I see leadership needing, what is critical, is being flexible, and most importantly is communication. For me, that's important. Communicating with the employees. A lot of the things we've done in our company has come from the team. So guys, what's working for you? What's not? What should we adjust? Okay, and then we quickly do it. What are some of the complaints that you may be hearing from clients with regard to this new situation where they can't walk in, etc.? Then we take it, then we work with it. So be flexible as a leader, and then have a lot of open conversations with your team so that you're co-creating this new normal. And there's still value in, even if you're working virtually, meeting up from time to time, because we're human beings. We thrive on connections. We thrive on seeing each other. We may not be able to hold hands and shake hands and all that, but at least getting some physical presence, it goes a long way to build that sense of belongingness and, connectedness in an organization.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
Flexibility and communication.
Okay. So final word from you, Essie. Are we going to ever catch up? Will we get to the point where this becomes how most of the businesses, would do? Would we have that hybrid stay with us forever?
I think we're at that point where we realize, yes, it is doable. And the best we need to do is to blend, figuring out when and how much of what virtual work we need. But yes, I think we're already there. We don't have a choice.
Okay.
Meanwhile, tech expert Kingsley Bennett says that tech companies have benefited immensely from the spread of COVID-19. According to him, businesses have had to be very phenomenal, and of course, people are getting the essence of having to acquire tech tools. He was also optimistic that the sector is expected to grow further.
The uptake has been phenomenal for most tech companies that are within this space. It's more like business as usual, but and we are growing significantly. So yes, we are becoming very much conscious of the fact that look, it's not going to be the same. So we better invest in the right tools, invest in the right solutions to ensure that our businesses continue to grow and thrive. We have to invest in our human resources to ensure that they are also up to the task and they are also prepared as we go. So yes, to continue to grow, a lot more businesses are getting themselves involved. There are clients that we chased for a couple of years. All of a sudden now they are chasing us, and we have to. So yes, it's going to grow. The space we're going to grow, it's going to widen. Interesting enough, SMEs are adopting, but of course not as fast as they should. There are a lot of medium-sized enterprises that have really gone. Initially, they thought that those are just costs, but now they see that these are right investments that they have to make. Yeah.
Now, PZ Cousins, producers of Camel Antiseptic, has today launched its third edition of the Camel Buy and Fly promotion. This follows a successful, endeavor since its inception 2 years ago. The promotion, expected to last 12 weeks, will have a unique winner every week for an all-expense-paid trip to Dubai in September. Category Marketing Manager, Personal Care at PZ Cousins Ghana, Marianne Boatin tells Joy Business the promotion is aimed at rewarding loyal customers. Tema correspondent Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
Being a house name for decades, Camel is the only antiseptic liquid endorsed by the Ghana Medical Association. Aside physical well-being, PZ Cousins is taking care of consumers' mental well-being through the Camel Buy and Fly promo. All winners will have a month's supply of the Camel Antiseptic, Carex hand wash and sanitizers, as well as Camel soap. But how do consumers participate in the promotion? Category Marketing Manager, Personal Care at PZ Cousins Ghana, Marianne Boatin walks us through.
Participation in this promo is very simple. All you have to do is to buy a Camel Antiseptic liquid. It could be any size, the big size, the small size, the medium size. You would see a scratch panel on the antiseptic liquid, on the bottle. You scratch this panel to reveal a code and text that code to 1393 free of charge across all networks. And that's all it is. Instantly, you receive a message and you would win airtime or a product hamper. But every single week from now till the end of the promo for 12 weeks, every single week we will select one lucky winner to win an all-expenses-paid trip for two to Dubai.
According to Marianne Boateng, all the necessary COVID safety protocols are in place for lucky winners who will be having fun in Dubai.
The extra measure that we are also providing is health insurance in Dubai. So what we are doing is providing them the ultimate care that they can ever have. We are paying, apart from the COVID safety protocols that we are taking care of, we are also going to be taking care of your accommodation in a 5-star hotel, all tours, including the desert safari, including a shopping trip at the Dubai Mall. We're providing you breakfast, lunch, dinner, all catered for, all expenses, including shopping money. You can't get it any better than this. So your flights, your accommodation in the top class 5-star hotel, as well as your food, and in addition, we are giving you shopping money.
Meanwhile, Marianne Boateng shares how accessible the Camel product is.
It can be found all across the nation. It can be found in supermarkets, in malls, shopping malls. It can even be found in the open markets, in Makola, in Medina markets, and tabletop shops all over the country, including your neighborhood shops like your corner shop across the road from your house. So it's easily accessible, and especially in these times where we recognize the need for antiseptic liquids. It can be more of our retailers across the country are stocking up on it.
Visit the company's Facebook and Instagram pages at Camel Now from Carex for more information. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy Business.
And that's how we end business. I'm Charles Aite. Sports is up next.
Good evening and welcome to the second part of the sports segment with me, Ray Kwam. Before we do start off with some local stories where the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has said that Ghana would not renounce on its commitment to organize a successful African Games in 2023. The president told the local organizing committee for the Games and the Minister of Youth and Sports when they paid a courtesy call on Thursday. The committee requested for the construction of a 50,000 capacity stadium to commence as soon as possible and railway lines to connect the city to the Games village.
The committee was inaugurated in October 2020 to organize the 2023 Africa Games with the appointment of a new Minister of Youth and Sports. Chairman of the committee, Dr. Ofosu Asare, and his team paid a courtesy call on the president of the country, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. The president said organizing the Games is a national project and there is no way Ghana will renege its commitment to ensuring the organization of the Games is a success.
We've committed ourselves to this project. There's no going back. And we can't welsh on it, and we can't do a half-baked job. We've got to do a good job. So it's going to be difficult for you. I mean, you're a new minister and all of that, but you have to ride this very, very strongly and get us results. You will have the full backing of this office. This is a Ghana project. It's not just a sports project, it's a Ghana project. So you have to have the resources of Ghana entirely at your back so that you can do a good job. So sit down with them and agree on the roadmap in terms of the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, by the end of this year, so we can have a spreadsheet that allows us to tick off things as we go along. But that is very, very critical. The amount of time involved is not very much. When I was sworn in January 2017, I thought 4 years was a long time. It turned out, in fact, to be very, very short. So I know that 3 years from now, 2023, is around the corner. So let's operate on that basis.
During the inauguration of the committee, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, promised Ghana was going to construct a 50,000 capacity stadium to serve as the venue for the opening and closing ceremonies.
Presently, none of the sports stadia and other sporting facilities in Ghana meet the required international standards for continental games. It is thus necessary to construct appropriate sports facilities in the country that will be able to hold the 25 sporting disciplines in Ghana in the year 2023. I'm happy to announce the land has been secured to construct the necessary facilities for the Games, and the procurement process to engage a contractor is ongoing. The facilities to be constructed include a 50,000 capacity Olympic Stadium complex, multi-purpose sports halls for all indoor sports, aquatic centers for swimming, and tennis courts.
Dr. Ofosu Asari called on the president to take steps to ensure work commences as soon as possible.
We want you to consider this project must be considered as the president's legacy project, where the president will look at it as his baby, nurture it, and assist us get it as expected. So we want a situation where our honorable minister will be assisted in all ways, all means to help him assist us get this project on course. We need, if not at all, complete the construction of the stadium by mid of 2023 for test runs to be done, for us to do all that. And in addition to that, Mr. President, let me also add, we can only have this project becoming sustainable if you open up the place and have proper road networks. So we are proposing that if it is possible and we can have an overpass on the motorway that will link up Boteman. If it is possible for you to direct the railway ministry to link up the area with railway lines.
Ghana was handed the Africa Games flag in 2019 after the successful organization of the 2019 edition in Morocco.
Well, that's all we have for you in terms of sports here, and we'll be back Monday to bring you the latest in the world of sports. My name is Eric Wampofo.
Welcome back to JoyNews Prime. And following the successful prosecution and sentence of the 2 men arrested in connection with the kidnapping and subsequent murder of the 4 girls who went missing in Takoradi in 2018, JoyNews will bring you a repeat of a special Ghana Police Watch episode on the case first broadcast in August. The episode shows where Samuel Auditor Girls lived and also where the remains of the girls were retrieved and its hideout after the escaped custody. And that will be it for the bulletin tonight. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
This is the safety tank.
Remains were retrieved. Just looking at this area, this is certain and abandoned, and
yes,
this one has not been completed
yes.
at all.
When we came, this place was like this, bushy like this. So we have to clear this area because we wanted to find the safety tank, which is normally called a manhole in this house. This particular one is the one which we were able to open, filled with liquid waste, mixed with feces materials. Yes. We picked a long stick from this place, and one of our colleagues stirred the liquid waste. We saw a human hair, women rasta. That we normally call mesh in it. So we suspected something here.
Was it mesh that had been used or mesh?
It has been used, meshed.
So it came off somebody's head?
They have tied it with a ribbon. Yes. We found it here. And also a bone.
So
we retrieved it from this.
You had to drain
Yes.
the water?
So we informed our regional commander, this COP, Mr. Regima Vincent Tejo, and with the assistance of prisons, we were able to drain the water from this, the liquid waste from this septic tank.
Suspect Samuel Wills was then brought to the scene. What was his reaction?
He